Hey guys, what's up? It's Charlie here, and today we're going to be looking at the 10 weirdest photos ever caught on the road. So on this channel we've seen a ton of very weird photos before, but these are images exclusively taken on the roads. Some of these people simply should not have driving licenses, and others are just plain dumb, so let's check them out. But before we get into it, why not subscribe and press the notification bell too. Coming in at number 10, we have stuck. Have you ever been stuck somewhere? Perhaps you got stuck in a parking spot. Or maybe your car was stuck at a dead end. Well, here's one car which got stuck in a very unusual yet very permanent way. This one takes place in Russia. One day a new pathway was being constructed. The contractors had just laid the pavement with concrete. And of course, to prevent cars getting near the workers, they put bollards out on the road. Well, one guy driving a very classy Lexus was driving down the road when he realized he went the wrong way. But instead of legally turning, he decided to make a U-turn. However, as he turned his car around, he went right onto this piece of pavement. But as it was a cold, snowy day, the pavement had not yet set. So this $100,000 Lexus went straight into this cement. As you can see by the image, the contractors do not look happy. And I can only imagine the guy driving the Lexus was equally as displeased. He'll definitely have to get every tire replaced, if not the entire car. Have you guys ever got stuck as bad as this guy? Next up is heavy load. So when it comes to logistics, transport is a big deal. You need to know whether you can get big things from A to B. Now, normally this involves millions of dollars and a lot of planning, but it seems in certain countries they don't want to deal with the red tape. Take this photo in India for example. Technically this one's not on the road, but on the sea. However, a land vehicle is still involved. As you can see, to transport this very heavy cement mixer, they used two small boats. They simply balanced half of the mixer on one side and the other half on the other side. If I was to caption this image, it would be a recipe for failure. I can just imagine the boats breaking in half due to the weight of this thing. And maybe one boat sailing to the left, the other sailing to the right, and the thing going straight in the water. That would be one very expensive mistake. If you thought oil spills were bad, just imagine a cement mixer falling in the water. Next up is rich kids. So if we know anything about rich kids, it's that they act with impunity. They literally think they can get away with anything because a lot of the time, they can. But here's a photo of a rich kid who went way too far. You may look at the top of this image and think it's just a bunch of people by a pool. But look down into the water and you can see what appears to be a vintage red Ferrari. Many people online have said this rich daughter was driving it and drove it into the pool. If that's the case, then I assume she's grounded for life. This seriously looks like the aftermath of a jackass stunt. But instead, this was apparently one rich kid who went way too far. This really reminds me of the car from Ferris Bueller, but at least that one only fell down a hill and not into a swimming pool. It's times like this when you wish you didn't get a convertible. Next up is elephant road trip. So we've already seen two boats trying to move a very heavy load, but something tells me this load is even heavier. This photograph was taken in South Africa and looks very unsafe. It appears one guy really wanted to test the limits of his truck, and I have to say, I feel very sorry for the truck. In the back is an African forest elephant, and African forest elephants often weigh around 4,000 kilos. To put that into perspective, that is the weight of 24,000 iPhones. Honestly, I'm surprised this truck hasn't totally collapsed under the elephant's weight. But I guess while in some countries you have to transport your pet dog or cat, in South Africa you have to transport your pet elephant. Just imagine the looks of all the drivers who saw this on the road. Next up is hiding place. So if you thought the car stuck in the pool was bad, then check this one out. The top of this image simply looks like a man on the beach. But if you look down, you see what appears to be a red square. In case you haven't made it out yet, this is actually a Jeep which has been submerged in sand. Somebody clearly couldn't be bothered to park up and walk down to the beach, so they drove right to it. But whoever parked this car parked it way too near to the shore. Of course, the sand by the shore is very wet, so it's incredibly easy for the car to slip down into the waters. As you can see, a fully fledged recovery mission is going underway. There's a rope around the Jeep with a larger vehicle pulling it. There's also a man with a shovel trying to optimistically dig this car out. But something tells me you'll need a JVC, not a shovel. Many people dig for treasure on the beach, but maybe you should be digging for a car. Next up is gas. So we've all had that moment where we fill up our cars, look at the gas meter and see it comes to tons of money. So much money, I bet sometimes we wish we could just drive off right out of there. But of course that would be illegal, so we don't. But here's one guy who said screw it and decided to do just that. As you can see, this car's driving off with a gas pump attached. They didn't bother taking it out and ripped it off the pump. Either this guy didn't want to pay for the gas or he just forgot. But either way, this is the biggest fail I've seen all day. If this guy was trying to sneak off without paying, then he didn't do a great job. I'm pretty sure if any police see a gas pump sticking out of your car, you're getting pulled over. Just imagine trying to sweet talk your way out of that. Next up is boating. So, do you guys like boating? If you do, you'll know that to get onto a boat you need a gangplank. This is the walkway used to get everyone on and off of the boat. But one day somebody decided to make a makeshift, very expensive gangplank. As you can see, this car drove right into this boat. But instead of falling in the water, it was simply suspended between the boat and the dock. From the looks of this image, it gathered quite the crowd, including this lady who looks way too proud for somebody who just ruined a car and maybe even a boat. Some online say this woman was driving the car, but something tells me she wouldn't be standing there if she was. The story behind this one is that behind those people is a parking lot, and instead of reversing out of their spot, this white car accidentally went forward. It's not the best idea to put a parking lot right next to a marina, but then again I doubt the people who made it thought anyone would do this. Next up is semi-strength. So when you think of a semi-truck, they're one of the biggest and strongest vehicles in the world. They have to hold tons of cargo and transport it all over the world. But one day it appears the driver wanted to test the strength of their semi. So they loaded it up with cargo. Too much cargo in fact. As you can see, this massive truck literally split down the middle. That's right, the 18-wheeler could not bear the weight of all these boxes, so it just broke. I've never seen this before and wouldn't assume it was possible. Semis are made of metal to make sure this never happens. I'd really like to know what was in those boxes. Unless it's dark matter or something, I'm not sure how this happened. Next up is cow load. So we've seen people moving heavy loads. And we've even seen people moving heavy animal loads. But I had to include this image, not because it's the heaviest animal, but because of how they're doing it. As you can see, somebody wanted to transport a cow in their car. But it seems this cow gets easily lonely, as this woman was riding in the back with her cow. The woman is holding the cow in with a fence and she looks very concerned. As you would expect anyone would be sharing a pickup truck with a cow. This was taken in the deep south of the USA. It's good to know people are trying to dispel stereotypes. But by the look on this woman's face, even she knows she went way too far. Next up is unlikely couple. So this is another funny image that went viral. As you can see on the highway one day, somebody spotted a very unlikely couple. There's a small man and one very large woman on a motorbike. But as you can see, the woman seems to be weighing too much for the bike and it's causing sparks on the road. This image went viral because it's so hilarious. However, many have pointed out it may be fake. Personally, I can't tell, but let me know in the comments what you guys think. And be sure to check out the poll in the top right corner to vote for the funniest image on this list. If you guys want more amazing videos, check out my second channel. There'll be a link to that on screen in a moment. But as always, thanks for watching. Check out some more videos on screen right now. Leave a like if you enjoyed, and if you haven't already, what are you waiting for? Subscribe to Top 10s.